Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, karibu sana, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. On today's video, we're going to talk about my post CS recovery and my breastfeeding journey. And if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing, liking, and also commenting on the comment section below. Please guys, just subscribe to my channel, tafadhali. Subscribe to my channel. So I did my CS on I was not preparing myself for CS, but I had a very open-minded about it. I was not like, my heart's desires, and I feel like it's every woman desire, is to give birth the natural way, right? But and also I started experiencing the forced labors on week 38. Tukikaribia week 38 hapo, that's when I started experiencing the forced labors, and they were extremely painful, especially at night. Zilikuwa zanishika usiku vizuri, and then tukikaribia mchana zinaisha, and then usiku, like that. So when they started, I thought in my head, because I'm a first time mom, ni labor, and at some point even went to the hospital. I think we were around 39 weeks. We went to the hospital tukaambiwa that we don't have any signs of labor, so we have to go back home and wait for labor. We went back home at around 40 weeks. We went back to the hospital tukaambiwa we can't be induced, we just go back home and wait. We went back home and we waited. At this point, my labor, even those first labors, zilikata kukuta na zikakata. So in my head I was like, now I'm going to be induced. We went for the scan, and the scan read that my baby is 4.1 kg. That meant that I have a very big baby. But again, I was told that 4.1, it's plus or minus 500 grams. So when I was told that I have a big baby, if you have gone through that, remember, have a big baby. When you have a big baby, unapewa pros and cons, and then it's up to you to decide. The ball is back onto you, or decide which one is suitable for you and the baby. I had done my research, and most of the people who have had big babies walikuwa nasema they wish they had gone for CS earlier. So my only option, because I was told I can be induced, I go through the labor process, but mtoto akianza kutoka anaweza kuwa mkubwa sana akose kutoka. That was one. Two, I got my baby at 41 weeks and 3 days, and at this time alikuwa reduce kucheza. Actually, that was a major thing that made us go for CS. Alikuwa reduce kucheza. Vile alikuwa reduce kucheza, niliambiwa that's a sign that ameanza kuchoka. Ako kwa tumbo na ameanza kuchoka. So if I get induced na mtoto ashachoka already, the high chances atachoka haraka, and maybe we won't finish the laboring process. When I was told that, I was just like, I'm ready. And the next question the gyna, by this time, this conversation I'm having with the gyna, the next question the gyna asked me, are you ready for a CS? And I had done my research, and I had seen that most of the mothers who have big babies wanafanyanga CS. So I was like, I'm ready for the CS. That was one. And two, I was ready because of her kukosa kucheza. At this point, it's around 4, and then I was asked, when do I want to go for theater? I was given an option. To go around 8 p.m. Yes, jioni, saa 2 za usiku. I was like, no, let me go in the morning. I don't know, I had fear. I wanted to first fikiria whatever I'm trying to do. So 8 in the morning, at around 9, I was told sifai kukula kitu from now till morning came. And then morning came around 11:30. That's when I walked to the theater. And I don't, the theater process, hiyo kukua prepped, unaoshwa. I thank God. I had heard stories that watu wanekangwa catheter wakisikia. Me, I had nothing. Nilikuwa catheter after nimedungwa the anesthesia sindano. So mi sikusikia nikekwa catheter. Asikuisikia. So the only thing nakumbuka nikiulizwa is to lift my legs up. The gyna, is it the gyna or the doctor? Uyo, the gyna was still the doctor. Alikuwa ananiambia I lift my legs up, and then I remember lifting the right leg kasema bado, and then kambwa I lift them again and sikuweza kulift again. And then I think that's when the whole process started. And then my baby came out, and I remember I heard her cry. That was the most beautiful cry I've ever heard. But alikaka, in my head, I think mtu anafaa kuja immediately, but mine alikuja. I don't know, ama it's me, because I didn't see, I don't know, I can't tell, but I remember just hearing her cry, and I kept asking for me to see her. Lazima angepanguzwa hizo vitu. After amepanguzwa nikaonyeshwa it's a girl. And then after some minutes, that's when I started kusikia baridi ya theater ni baridi. It's baridi. It's very, very cold. And then from there I was kept somewhere na baridi yangu, and then the baby was wrapped akaekwa hapa next to me, and then we were wheeled back to the recovery room, and we stayed there. And then I was told that after 8 hours I'm supposed to stand, and also I'm supposed to take my first drink, nafaa nikunywe some warm water. So after 8 hours, I remember I don't have some memories from there until when I started like kujisikia. And then after nimeanza kujisikia, I pressed the bell. Did I press the bell? Ama the nurse came. I don't remember, but I remember when the nurse came, I asked her if she's going to help me to change from the scrubs. Zinaitangwa scrubs. Hizo vitu mtu anakuanga nayo theater. I wanted to change from them, nivae a fresh gown. At this point, hata sijui kama niko na catheter. So when nilisimama, I saw that thing hapa chini. I was shocked kuiona. At this time, nini kidogo haijajaa bado. I was shocked. Nikamuuliza hii ni nini? Akaniambia it's catheter, it's going to help you with your pee. I was like, it's okay. And then now I had to stand so that nitolewe hiyo nguo, nivalishwe gown, right? Hiyo kusimama, it was painful. If I'm being honest, it was very, very painful, the standing up. But I had to stand up, nikabadilishwa, nikatolewa hizo, nikavalishwa. But nikitolewa, I remember just seeing damu. And in my head, I'm like, I didn't, when I was doing my research, sikufikiria ati mtu wa CS utoka damu, because in my head, like, it's your stomach, you're not giving birth the natural way. So that was a surprise to me. When I saw the blood, I was shocked, if I'm being honest. And then I remember the nurse holding on to me, and we just walked around the room, pole, taking few steps. Now getting back to the bed, nimezunguka, nimekaa kwa bed. I have to breastfeed this baby. My baby was still crying at this point. Hatukuwa tumenunua formula because we thought maziwa ukipata mtoto maziwa inatokanga hapo. hatakuwa tumenunua formula, so my baby is crying, I'm trying to breastfeed her, hakuna kitu inatoka, and she's crying, and I remember feeling really bad at that point. It was me in the room. It was me, my husband, and the baby, and now the nurse, and we are trying to breastfeed. I'm trying to breastfeed the baby, hakuna kitu inatoka, najaribu tena, hakuna kitu inatoka, and I felt really bad. I felt, because she kept crying, and I felt as if I'm failing the baby. See, that's kama guilt that nakugonganga, mili nigonga at that point, but luckily she went back to sleep. She woke up again, bado analia. At that point, that's when we were advised, we asked the nurse, like, what are we supposed to do? Like, that's when she advised we buy the formula, and that's when we bought the formula, akapewa, and my baby was a heavy, up to date bado ni heavy feeder. Akapewa, sijui akapewa, alikuwa anapewa na syringe, akapewa, alimaliza syringe 2, akalala. After amelala, I remember at that point, sasa ni jioni, usiku, nikaletewa chakula. I was hungry, but unajaribu kukula, and then you hear, like, there's these stories on Miongo Hen, coughing, you're not supposed to eat solid food. There's all these stories that you have heard about CS. So I remember it. I don't even remember what we were given in the hospital, but I remember just looking at that food, and I was horrified kukula chakula, because I was like, I will eat, kidonda yangu itafunguka. I had all these fears from the stories I had heard, so nilikuwa naogopa nikule kidonda yangu ifunguke, so I didn't even kula. The only thing I remember I was taking is yogurt, and then I kept, nilikuwa nalala kidogo, naamka kidogo, but let me tell you, I used to sleep on my back. I found it comfortable for me, but from the back to sit down, I felt as if it was going to take eternity. That was one. Two, the sitting up, that was one. And 2, the kutoka kwa kitanda. Si kitanda iko hapa, so I'm supposed to step down. Iyo kushuka chini, for me that was painful. It was really, really painful. Kupanda kwa hiyo kitanda, it was really painful. And I feel like as mothers, we don't get enough credit as we're supposed to, because it was, as even those who say CS, people have their own stories and beliefs about CS mom. But if you're a CS mom, to be honest, you did your best with your baby. That's all I have to say. And also, at this point, I remember, now we are in day 2, I did bado sina maziwa, and let me tell you, kuna kitu people don't talk about that ilinishtua. Mimi nilishtuka kufinywa the nipples so that the milk would come out. Let me tell you, it was painful and very uncomfortable, but lazima ufinywe, alafu na unaambiwa unafinywa, inatoka tu maji, unaambiwa hiyo maji ndo maziwa. I'm trying to give it to my baby. My baby is not, by that time, hata hujui kulatch, unajaribu kumpea, unaona nikaa umpee vizuri. Me, I don't even know what was going on and what was happening, but I just felt like it's not, whatever is, I don't know, I just felt like I'm a failure at that point. If I'm being honest, it felt as if I'm failing my baby. I was trying so much, and hakuna kitu inatoka, inatoka tu maji, najaribu kumpea, inakataa. Thankfully we had none, alikuwa nani kadogo, analala, the formula anapewa, analala, but it was very, very difficult. And then on day 3, that's when my milk came. My milk started coming out on day 3, and also on day 3, that's when even me, I started, my baby's ameamka, she was sleeping. And also on day 3, that's when my milk word started coming, and so that's when I started like familiarizing myself with the latching process. And also on day 3 pia, on day 3, that's when you were, on day 3, that's when my milk started to come out. Ndo naweza sema haikukuza like the floods, in my head nilikuwa nasema maziwa yanakujanga mara ya kwanza like the floods, but yeah, ilikuja, that's when I sema kulikuwa na increase kidogo. That's when I noticed the difference, and also I feel like that's when we started latching vizuri on day 3, and also on day 3 that's when we were going home. Yes, that's when also we were going home, and that's when we started my breastfeeding journey. Something else that people talk about, it's the pain. So for me, I would say, how was the pain? I don't know. In my head, I thought that the pain of breastfeeding, the nipple, it's extremely painful. Mi sikusikia hiyo uchungu. If I'm being honest, I think nilisikia uchungu kwa umbali. Ama the uchungu of CS was overtaking the uchungu of the nipple. For me, I would give it a 3. The pain ya nipple yenye nilisikia, I would give it a 3. And also it doesn't last, inakaanga. For me, I think like siku 4 ya 5. My nipple, what shocked me is my nipple peeling off. And also I saw one, moja ndo niliona ikipeel. Hii sikuona ikipeel. So the first few days I thought ilipeel mtoto akameza. The stress I had because I thought mtoto alimeza. Hii ilipiliwa, I noticed and I saw it. The other one I never saw it. So in my head I kept thinking mtoto amemeza, it will bring complications, but by the grace of God we are well. Mpaka penye tumefika, we are doing great, we are doing well. Yeah, how was my body? How has it been? I feel like on week 3, that's when I started feeling like my normal self. If there's one thing I kept doing when I went back home is walking. I used to walk around the compound kila siku. I had to make sure nimetembea. So my legs zilifura sana. I didn't expect that, but zilifura. That first week miguu zangu zilifura sana. So I used to dip them on hot water ikiwa na chumvi kila jioni. Something nilikuwa naogopa ni kutake shower. Ile okay. Me, I wiped myself for 2 weeks. I was like, for 2 good weeks. Actually not. For 1 good month. I used to wipe myself daily. Tulikuwa naogopa. Like I had when I was pregnant, I had a story of somebody, a sister to my friend. She had a CS. She is a CS mom. And then she got an infection in that she had done like 3 surgeries. So far I'm sure atakuwa imefikisha 3 months. So ile time nilikuwa nakumbuka hiyo story, I was like, I'm not going to take a bath, I'm going to wipe myself. And the consequences of wiping myself, mwili bado imechoka. Because I remember the day that nilioga, like nilijumagilia maji, I felt relaxed. Nilisikia I have relaxed. So yeah, that was my. Right now, where am I? I hear that the scar for because unakatangwa 7 layers with the CS. Sometimes I feel pain, if I'm being honest. Kwa mbali tu nasikianga tu wako kwa uchungu. Some days we are okay, we are good. The scar yangu ilipona vizuri. I didn't have any complications. Ilipona vizuri. To be honest, I thank God for that. Tulipona tu vizuri. And so far so good. The only thing I think, sijoma ni vile nalanga na side moja nikinyonyesha mtoto na nalala na hii side ama nalala na hii side. Nasikianga sometimes my legs hazina nguvu sana. But you know what, you take a day at a time. How is the new body? I feel like sai nimerudi job ndo I've increased weight. Juu nguo sai ndo zimeanza kunikata. When I was in the house, kuna nguo zilikuwa zinanitosha, but right now kuna nguo hazinitoshei. I think that's the only difference I've noticed. It's like I've added some weight. And I am loving it, to be honest. I don't think I can say I will start any weight loss for now. For now, my journey is to do breastfeeding, until the baby is 6 months. We are almost hitting the 6 month, and I'm really excited. Afike 6 months akuwe hategemei breastfeeding peke yake. I'll be very happy. That was my post CS journey, and my breastfeeding journey. Please send me in the comment section below, like, what shocked you. For me, kufinywa, like, that thing was painful. And also something else nimesahau is the blood. You see, when the uterus is cleansing itself, me, I didn't know kuna vitu kama hizo. I remember that my uterus cleansing, when I was doing latch, I look for that one, I will attach it somewhere here. It went for, I think, almost 2 months. At first it was heavy bleeding, and then it was just light bleeding. Ilienda kikuwa light, and also some days nilikuwa nafikiria it's gone, and then inarudi. I think that's what extended for long. The rest, we did it well. If you're a CS mom, the only thing I can tell you is you're strong than you know, and you did a good job. You really did a good job. In the end of the day, kila mtu mwenye alikuwa anatoka kwa hiyo gate, we came out with healthy babies, and we were all healthy. That's what matters, to be honest. Like, that's what matters. Mtu asikwambie kitu ingine. When people hear you have, one thing I've realized is when people hear I didn't go through like the labor and what, and that process, they make faces. That's something I've realized, but I will embrace my journey and just move along with it, because at the end of the day is me having having a healthy baby to go back home with. And when I look at my baby, why when I was showing you alizaliwa hiyo siku, I don't think you'll be like, she will notice we know yes, we know animal delivery. They are all healthy and they are all well. Thank you so much for watching. If you watched up to this point, please feel free to share your journey. Feel free to comment how far are you, how is the journey, and let's encourage each other in the comment section below. And if you want to subscribe, please consider subscribing, liking, and commenting on the comment section below. Thank you for watching up to this point. Until the next video, guys. Bye bye.